RJ Barrett signs the extension. It's being reported as a 4-year, $120 million extension. I think this is fantastic. There's a lot to unpack here. How does this affect the Mitchell trade? What does this mean for the Knicks moving forward? Did Leon Rose make a mistake? My name's Caleb. This is the Knicks Beat. What's going on, everybody? I hope you're having a fantastic day. About 11 o'clock last night, Woj dropped the bomb. New York's Leon Rose set a Monday night deadline with Utah to reach an agreement on a trade for Mitchell, or the Knicks would commit to the Barrett extension. Sources said the Knicks and the Jazz closed the gap on deal points in recent days on a Mitchell trade, but neither would go further. And in regards to that, if you go to the actual ESPN article, Woj states, while the Knicks and Jazz trade talks intensified and the gap on deal points that included Barrett in the package tightened over the weekend and into Monday, there remained a gulf on reaching a trade for Mitchell. Once the Knicks and Jazz exhausted discussions Monday night, Rose and Duffy finalized the extension eligible to players out of the 2019 NBA class. He goes on to talk about how this wasn't even close. Danny Ainge wanted Barrett, he wanted Grimes, he wanted all the picks, and Leon Rose said no. Rightfully so, he said no. But let's talk about the Barrett extension just for a minute. I know some of you are disappointed, like, oh my God, this means we're not going to get Mitchell. Maybe. But by itself, this is a good deal. This is a good deal. Look at everybody else around him. You got Zion. You got Garland. Morant. They're all 5 years, around $200 million apiece. This is a good deal for a good player. A 22-year-old player that's improved every single year, that is willing to take the smoke in New York City. He does not back down. He is a tank. He doesn't stop. He barely gets hurt. He just plays every single game. This is a good deal. This is a good deal. And I know the big knock on him, on Barrett, is his inefficiency. Well, now that he has a better point guard, and hopefully, we start to move towards more talent on the team, whether that's Mitchell or another player, that efficiency, as well as his training and his age, is going to get better. How different would we be looking at this contract if he shot better than the 71% free throws last year? What does that make his average? If he just brings it up to 80%? At the end of the day, Leon Rose drew a line in the sand, and Danny Ainge didn't want to come close to it. This is a good deal. This is a good day to be a Knicks fan. We have a face of the franchise. We have a kid that wants to be here. He works hard. And frankly, for some of the fans that think that the Mitchell trade is dead, I don't buy that. I really don't buy that. We only started talking, or well, at least hearing about the fact that RJ was going to be in this trade, what, a week ago? I know they mentioned it early on, but the consensus was the Jazz and Ainge didn't want Barrett because of a contract. So it was really only this past week where it became, okay, they want RJ Barrett. For a player like Mitchell, Barrett, Grimes, probably a third player, along with money such as Fournier, plus at least 4 unprotected picks, that is too much. That is too much. But really, I don't think this deal is dead. If Danny Ainge goes into the season, and they've talked about, or he's talked about, that he is willing to do this rebuild around Mitchell. If they go into the season with Mitchell, it's going to be looked at as a failure on Danny Ainge's part. Any kids that they draft with all this draft capital that they're acquiring in the next 3 years, 4 years, is not going to be on Mitchell's timeline. It's not. So to pretend that they can build with 18, 19, 20-year-old kids around a borderline superstar going into his prime, that's not going to happen. And in fact, that's probably going to make Mitchell become more disgruntled as the season goes on, as the years go on, as the contract goes on, and he's not going to want to stay. Right now, he is under contract. He's young. Now is the time to trade him. Now is the time to get picks for him. He just has to be reasonable. The Knicks are offering what no other team in the NBA is either able or willing to offer. If it's a buyer's market, you got to get what you can get. And if you follow him on Twitter, Alan Hodd said it best. Never expected RJ Barrett to go anywhere. Tibbs values his toughness and attitude, and the overall franchise has viewed the 22-year-old as a foundational piece. Period. He also goes on to say, I don't believe the RJ extension kills the deal for Donovan Mitchell. It just officially takes RJ off the table. Leon Rose makes a bold statement in the midst of these talks. And he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. Leon Rose, like I said, he drew a line in the sand. And he said, I'm not going to go any further. This is the best deal that we can offer. This is the best deal you're going to get. We're now keeping RJ Barrett as the face of our franchise. And if we can get Donovan Mitchell, that's fantastic. I really, really hope we do. And I think we have the best offer out there. It's just a matter of, does Danny Ainge want to try to make a deal? Or is he only in this to try to win a deal? Either way, like I said, if he goes into the offseason with Mitchell on the books, I view that as a failure. Look, the Jazz don't want to go into a complete rebuild, and I mean a complete rebuild. Who do they have on their team besides him? They don't want to win games. They don't. They want to win the lottery. 2023 has been talked about as one of the biggest drafts for over a decade. And I know a lot of it has to do with the 7+ footer that can shoot, that can dribble, Wembanyama. I think I said that right. But outside of him, there's a lot of good talent in this draft. So if he ends up keeping Mitchell, that just adds to the win count. That makes it harder and harder for him to get into that top 3 to have a chance at the top 1. And if Danny Ainge is trying to build a team in his image, the way he likes to do, the way he did with the Celtics, he doesn't want Mitchell. So how about for today, instead of worrying about how we're going to get Mitchell and all that stuff, today's a good day. We got a good player who's young, who wants to be here on a great deal. Obviously, all of the particulars still have to come out. It looks like it's a very heavy in incentives, whether he makes all-star teams, all-defense teams, things of that nature. But for the first time in decades, since Charlie Ward, we took a first-round pick and we re-signed him. The front office seems to at least kind of know what they're doing for a change. Today's a good day. Today's a day to celebrate. Let's not worry about Donovan Mitchell, I guess, until tomorrow. Today's a good day. Congratulations, RJ Barrett. Congratulations to the Knicks and Knicks fans. Now it's time to get to work. Thank you for watching the Knicks Beat. My name's Caleb again. Please hit that like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter. I hope you have a fantastic day. Peace out.